Hello, and welcome to Serenity and Soul's Tarot Share. This is a pre-recorded video, and today we are going to talk about the star. This is episode, I believe, 16, path 28, card or key 17. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of the star, I'm going to go over some new logistics and also the October events. So we are currently moving into the 66 East Main Street in Westminster, Maryland. It's the old fire station, and I am currently operating out of my tarot room. It's also the massage room, and this is where you will see me doing my videos. And so all of the events will now be held at 66 East Main Street. There will no longer be any events in the Enchanted Forest that was formerly located at 400 North Center Street in Westminster, Maryland. That was the town mall. So, events. Tuesday, which is today, we're having the Tarot Share at 5:30. And then on Saturday, this coming weekend, we have two festivals. The first is going to be the Oyster Stroll, which is on Main Street in Westminster, Maryland. We will have a booth along with the Community Foundation of Carroll County, which is, we're part of that particular organization. So we're a fund of the Community Foundation of Carroll County, and we're very excited about having a booth next to them. And then on Sunday, October 12th, so the Oyster Stroll was on Saturday, the October 11th, Sunday, October 12th, I will be at the Inner Nature Holistic Fall Festival, which is running from, well, it's not 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., that's for sure. It's going to be most of the day. So it'll start early. And then on the 16th, which is a Thursday, we're going to have a meditation class. Now, this is Meditation 101. So if you have never meditated before, you don't need to worry about knowing how to do anything. We're going to have discussion about meditation, and then we're going to try a couple of techniques to see what works for you. And then you'll have sort of like homework to take home so that you can try out different methods and look into different methods. And then on Friday, the 17th of October, our shamanic energy person, Dee Antionette, is coming in from Sacred Willow. She's a dream mending master, and she's going to be doing a dream discovery class. And so she's going to teach you techniques and give you tips on how to remember your dreams and how to interpret them. So that will be a paid class. That's $35. We have 10 seats available, and you should sign up at www.bagaro.com/serenity and soul, SOL, /classes. We do have this information on our Facebook, and on our Instagram, so feel free to click on the event at the Facebook, and it will take you to the ticket link. And then the next Tarot Share will be Tuesday, October 21st. So we're very much looking forward to announcing our opening in the near future. And of course, come visit us on October 11th and check us out so that you can get more information. All right, so now let's move on to the Star, which is a card of hope and inspiration, which is very apropos for this transition that we are experiencing here at Serenity and Soul. So this is the path between Yesod and Netzach. So it's going to be sort of like the storehouse of images where we find the astral plane, and then it's our the instinctual, intuitive aspects of ourselves. And this is where instinct comes in. So this is like that instinctual creativity and drawing upon the astral plane kind of energy that we're looking at. So in the previous videos that I have done about these lower paths, I may have misspoke and it may have confused people. So I wanted to clarify in this video exactly what is happening, because we have paths, just like we have Sephira that mirror each other, such as Hod and Netzach, right? They're sort of like two opposite ends, or the polarized ends of the same path, or they mirror each other, the same spectrum, right? So Hod is like pure logic and Netzach is pure emotion and instinct, right? So we want to make sure that when we're looking at the tree of life and we are mapping the tarot cards on the paths, that we are associating the mirror paths with each other. And this is where I think I misspoke. So in this instance, when we talked about judgment and the moon, I think I had said the moon and the sun were mirror paths, and that was incorrect. Judgment and the moon are mirror paths. So they go to Malkut. So judgment is between Hod and Malkut, whereas the moon is between Netzach and Malkut. So we're going up from Malkut into Hod, and that's judgment, and that's sort of like the mental tallying. I don't know if you've ever heard that voice in your head. I know I have it, where it sits and just automatically judges everything, good, bad, ugly. All right, that's the judgment aspect of yourself. And then on the other side, we have the moon, which is like the realization that you do that, and the habits that you have that are instinctual, that you are trying to shed, that have maybe been subconsciously programmed into you. So when we are moving through these paths, as we are rising on the planes, those two are about shedding somatic patterns, and shedding, that inner critic. All right. So that's where between Malkut and those two, Hod and Netzach, Sephira. Now the sun and the star are actually mirror paths. And that's why when I looked at it, I was like, oh dear, I actually did perhaps misspeak. So the sun, of course, is between Yesod and Hod. All right. So it's the logic, it's the highest logic that the personality can achieve. So basically, our crystal clarity about how things work and the way that we think about it with our mind is the sun. It sheds light on what's happening, and is very personal in the sense that the sun is our luminary that makes life possible. But then the star is about the sun is a star, but it's actually the stars. So it's a misnomer to call this card the star. It is the stars. So it's multiple stars. And this is about, shedding our logic fallacies on the sun side, and shedding our emotional fallacies on the star side. So when the sun goes up to Hod from Yesod, because Yesod is where all the illusions are, and then Hod is where logic is. So, of course, we're shedding light on our mental patterns and trying to break them down. But here in the star, we're shedding light on our emotional programming, our instinctual programming. And usually the star happens after something really terrible. Lots of terrible things may have happened to us. This is the nadir, and the only way to go is up. So, the star, as a path, points out the way in which the inherent divine energy is properly approached. It's a path of primal intuition, and it's called the natural intelligence because it oversees the raw forces of nature. Experimenting with meditation and creative visualization is what's indicated on this path. So if you're trying to move up this path, you are trying to learn meditation, you are trying to tap into your creative intelligence through visualization. We try to seek an understanding of the very processes of life and death, right? So this is a heavy duty card. So this is Wang. Wang talks about Tiferet as the central star of our existence, right? And its mundane chakra is the sun, right? So this path helps shape our approach to our higher self, right? And then the star is the means of perfection. It is the method. So that path is all the methods that we use to sort of program ourselves to be in connection with our higher selves. So thought processes on the sun side, right? These are the ways that we think about it. The star is the way we do about it. So when we truly succeed at meditation, we discover that it is not we who meditate, but rather we that are meditated. And that's from Paul Foster Case. I thought that was pretty interesting. So we discover that it's not we who meditate, but rather that we are meditated. Okay? And you can chew on that one for a while because I'm still trying to figure that one out. So the star shows Eden restored, and here is the card. So it shows Eden restored by Adam Kadmon. And here again, right, we have a reference to Tiferet, which is where Adam Kadmon, or our higher selves, exists. And then it's restored in a manner by which the personality can directly relate to the highest self, right? It is the highest level of the personality's intuition, as I had mentioned before, as opposed to the sun, which is the highest level of the intellect. Okay? So, Canon Reed says that this is a mirror path. The star is a mirror path directly across from the sun. The sun is a star, and the sun of our personal intellect and the stars of the collective unconscious are what. So the sun is the star of the personal intellect, and then the stars are representing the collective unconscious. So it's sort of like you have one star over here in Had, and then you have multiple stars over here in Netzach, because when you do the lightning path, you actually hit Had first when you're going up the tree, and then you hit Netzach. So the stars of the collective unconscious are represented by this path. This also is inspiration, which is one of the stars' meanings, and aspirations, which is a reaching for the stars. Now, Angelise Ariane has this to say. So she's talking about the constellation, and she calls it the Justice constellation, but I consider it the Strength constellation. So strength is internal and external radiance and self-confidence. And the star is the universal symbol of awakening. So it's incredibly important for your awakening. Awakening occurs, in my opinion, awakening occurs when you have found enough of your own personal footing that you actually can see beyond yourself. All right. So if you've come from a traumatic background or something of that nature, then, your self-confidence needs to be built up before you can truly awaken. But also with the star, our false sense of pride and arrogance has already been broken when we have reached the star. All right. And that is sort of like the awareness coming to and going, whoa, here's where everything happens. This is the beginning of a new phase of my life. So there are two resources that she indicates in this constellation, the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Wands is swiftness. This is the dropping of procrastination. So I just recently experienced this dropping of procrastination. I'm combining immediate action with direct communication. Many things are happening Many things are moving forward for me, both personally and professionally. So this is sort of the doing of the work. And then Eight of Pentacles, prudence, the wisdom to act from a centered place. Okay? So you have to have this prudence to look at the situation as it actually is so that you can make decisions moving forward that are best for you. And then, of course, there are the two challenges, Eight of Cups, which is indolence, and Eight of Swords, which is interference. So the Eight of Cups is overextending ourselves and not setting boundaries. So if you are a doormat, you are experiencing sort of the precursor to having a star experience. And also, on the other side, we have the Eight of Swords, which is overanalyzing and creating doubt and confusion because we refuse to look at things as they are, or we are being prevented from looking at things as they are. So the star is the awakening in this constellation of strength. And then finally, Wen has this to say. The star represents hope, inspiration, and mental well-being. It is a spiritual wealth because all other things, it appears, have been taken away, but it's also Eden restored. So one of the clues about the star is that this is what we have to work with after destruction. All right? The tower precedes the star. And it is about having everything just razed to the ground so that you can rebuild on foundations. So this is renewal and restoration. The guidance is coming from within, and you are empowered. You are self-empowered. Again, it appears chronologically after a great deal of pain. We have the Hanged Man, death, devil, and the tower. It's the final low point, that nadir. And it has been passed. So now all we have to look forward to is that upward movement. Now, it's something to look forward, but it's going to require a lot of hard work. Okay? Its reversed meaning bodes pessimism and negativity and the muzzling of intuition, which is a nutsack thing. So when you are stopping that star energy, it results in the pessimism, negativity, and the muzzling of intuition. And it may be that you're overbalanced on the mirror path of the sun, where you're like, I'm just telling it like it is. I see this clearly, logically, and therefore I am correct. But it's really this sort of like imbalance between these two mirror paths where inspiration and hope versus, this pessimism and negativity, the muzzling of the intuition. So that is what I have for the star today from some masters of Tarot, as well as my own understanding. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we will be back on the 21st with the Tower. Thank you for attending, and this is Io Kirkwood from Serenity and Soul. We're at 66 East Main Street, and we have a store and a metaphysical center, and we hope to see you soon. Namaste.